Some motorcycles in 2025 are nothing but money pits. Dealers smile while they sell them, but once you ride, the truth hits hard. Buzzing engines, cramped seats, resale values collapsing. And if you're not careful, the bike sitting in your garage could already be on this list. Stick with me, because by the time we reach number 1, you'll see how even the most legendary name in motorcycling can let riders down where it matters most. Number 16. Honda Rebel 500. What once promised simplicity and freedom has now turned into a motorcycle that feels more like a compromise than a classic. It sits low, feels approachable, and comes wrapped in cruiser styling that promises more freedom than it delivers. Underneath that promise is a middleweight motorcycle that feels small once the first long ride begins. The engine produces 47 horsepower from a 471 cubic centimeter parallel twin with 32 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system available, a conventional telescopic fork up front, and dual rear shocks. Wet weight is 414 pounds. Seat height is 27.2 inches. And the starting price is $6,499. The problem comes once the novelty fades. Around town, the Rebel feels easygoing, but at highway speed it buzzes and strains. Passing power is limited, the gearing runs short, and long-distance comfort fades after a single tank of fuel. Taller riders find the pegs too cramped and the suspension too basic for rough pavement. It is a motorcycle built for a single stage in a rider's journey, not for the long haul. For older riders expecting a relaxed cruiser capable of steady interstate miles, this one shows its limits quickly. The Rebel's appeal lies in its price and beginner-friendly feel, but that same appeal is the reason many riders outgrow it almost immediately. The next entry shows how chasing sporty looks can hide deeper frustrations beneath the surface. Number 15. Suzuki GSX 250R. At first glance, it pretends to be a sport machine, but one ride reveals a motorcycle built more for show than for go. Beneath that styling, however, is a motorcycle that delivers more frustration than thrill. The engine produces 24 horsepower from a 248 cubic centimeter parallel twin with 17 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system available, a telescopic front fork, and a rear monoshock suspension. Wet weight is 392 pounds, seat height is 31.1 inches, and the starting price is $4,999. In practice, the shortfall of the 250 becomes clear the moment a rider pushes past city streets. Acceleration is sluggish, making highway merges or quick passes stressful rather than enjoyable. The weight is close to that of larger 600-class machines, yet the power output belongs in the entry-level category. This mismatch leaves the rider carrying extra pounds without the reward of extra strength. Corners feel soft and uninspired, and the sense of performance that the styling suggests quickly fades away on the open road. For a beginner, the allure of affordable price and approachable appearance is undeniable, but when compared against machines like the Yamaha R3 or the Kawasaki Ninja 400, the 250 simply falls behind in every meaningful measure. The next motorcycle on this list shows how chasing size and complexity can take a once simple name and turn it into confusion. If you've seen any of these bikes sitting unsold at your local dealer, hit the like button and drop a comment. Let us know which model disappoints you most. Number 14. Royal Enfield Meteor 350. Styled to capture retro charm, this motorcycle ends up as more of a prop than a serious road companion. It looks the part with classic lines and chrome touches, but performance and practicality are sacrificed once the road stretches out. The engine produces 20 horsepower from a 349 cubic centimeter single cylinder with 20 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, a telescopic front fork, and twin rear shock absorbers. Wet weight is 421 pounds, seat height is 30.1 inches, and the starting price is $4,899. On short rides around town, the Meteor feels easygoing and comfortable enough. The low seat makes it accessible, and the riding position is upright and natural. But once highway speeds are involved, the motor works hard to keep pace and quickly runs out of strength for passing or climbing. Vibration creeps through the bars and pegs, and riders find fatigue sets in long before the fuel tank is empty. While the styling offers plenty of visual charm, the long-haul experience is lacking, particularly for riders who expect to travel far at steady interstate speeds. For an American rider looking for lasting comfort, the Meteor proves better suited for photo opportunities and short commutes than real journeys. The next entry demonstrates how aging design can cling to nostalgia while refusing to deliver the refinement modern riders demand. Dealers won't say it, but the right gear saves more rides than the right badge. I linked my tested 2025 helmets, jackets, gloves, and tools, organized by price tier. Number 13. Yamaha Bolt R-Spec. Once positioned as a no-nonsense alternative to Harley, today it feels more like a relic frozen in time. It looked like a simple alternative to Harley-Davidson's smaller machines, and it delivered a raw riding feel at an affordable price. The engine produces 65 horsepower from a 941 cubic centimeter air-cooled V-twin, with 59 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, a telescopic front fork, and dual rear shocks. Wet weight is 546 pounds. Seat height is 27.2 inches, and the starting price is $8,899. The issue today is not that the Bolt is completely inadequate, but rather that it has refused to move forward while everything around it has advanced. The suspension is harsh, the seat feels like a plank after more than an hour, and taller riders quickly find their knees cramped. What was once a budget-friendly way to enter the cruiser world now feels outdated compared to competitors offering better technology, smoother power delivery, and comfort designed for real distance. Riders expect refinement and efficiency in 2025, but the Bolt continues to rely on the same formula it has carried for over a decade. Owners who love the Bolt describe its rugged character, but the resale market tells the truth. Dealerships struggle to move used examples. The next motorcycle on this list demonstrates how borrowing an engine from a sport platform can still fail to deliver a true cruiser soul. Number 12. Kawasaki Vulcan S. Marketed as an approachable cruiser, the reality is a machine that feels mismatched for both beginners and veterans alike. The engine produces 61 horsepower from a 649 cubic centimeter parallel twin, with 46 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, a telescopic front fork, and a rear monoshock. Wet weight is 497 pounds. Seat height is 27.8 inches, and the starting price is $7,349. On paper, the Vulcan seems like a versatile choice. The engine is smooth, and Kawasaki's fit system allows riders to adjust ergonomics with different seat, peg, and handlebar positions. However, the reality of the ride does not match the promise. The parallel twin delivers adequate performance, but feels sterile when compared to the deeper character of a V-twin. At highway speeds, the bike develops a buzz that turns longer rides into a chore. Comfort is acceptable for shorter commutes, but extended distance riding exposes its limitations. Riders drawn to cruiser styling expect relaxed torque and commanding presence, yet the Vulcan feels more like a repurposed commuter than a long-distance partner. For riders seeking a first cruiser, it appears approachable and flexible. For seasoned motorcyclists expecting heritage and highway confidence, it feels like a compromise. The next motorcycle on this list shows how retro styling can mask shortcomings that quickly reveal themselves on the open road. Number 11. Yamaha XSR 700. Retro styling can spark interest, but without substance underneath, this motorcycle quickly shows its age. The engine produces 74 horsepower from a 689 cubic centimeter parallel twin with 50 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, a telescopic front fork, and a rear monoshock. Wet weight is 410 pounds. Seat height is 32.9 inches, and the starting price is $8,899. On first impression, the XSR delivers the visual throwback many riders want. It wears the old-school lines proudly, and the parallel twin has the reputation for reliability. However, the problems show themselves once the ride extends beyond casual city cruising. The suspension is soft and unrefined, allowing bumps and imperfections to unsettle the bike. The seat is firm in all the wrong ways, leaving many riders uncomfortable in less than an hour. For taller riders, the ergonomics feel awkward, with pegs and bars placed in ways that fail to encourage confidence on longer rides. What should feel like a lively, balanced machine instead comes across as unsettled and unfinished. The XR holds some appeal for those wanting looks over substance, but when lined up against other choices in the same price range, it it quickly fades. Riders comparing it to more refined machines see where the shortcomings lie. The next motorcycle on this list proves that even premium badges can hide a surprisingly dull experience. Number 10. BMW F900R. Carrying the weight of German engineering prestige, this motorcycle stumbles where refinement and rideability should have shined. Yet beneath the surface, it delivers less satisfaction than expected. The engine produces 105 horsepower from an 895 cubic centimeter parallel twin with 68 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, an upside-down telescopic front fork, and a rear monoshock. Wet weight is 465 pounds. Seat height is 32 inches, and the starting price is $9,195. The problem with the 900 lies not in the numbers on paper, but in the experience it offers. Throttle response feels abrupt at low speeds, robbing the rider of smooth control. The motor itself lacks the distinct personality riders expect in this category, sounding coarse rather than inspiring. Comfort also suffers, with a cramped riding position for taller riders and suspension tuning that favors perfectly smooth roads rather than real-world pavement. Against rivals from Japan and Britain, it feels unfinished and underwhelming. Buyers paying premium prices demand refinement, performance, and durability. The 900 struggles to meet any of those marks. Depreciation has also been steeper than average, as owners often turn the bike over quickly in search of something more rewarding. The next motorcycle on this list illustrates how building for versatility can result in a machine that feels unsure of its true purpose. Number 9. Kawasaki Versys 1000 LT. Adventure touring should mean confidence and control, but this heavyweight machine creates more doubt than enjoyment. The engine produces 118 horsepower from a 1043 cubic centimeter inline 4 with 75 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, an adjustable telescopic front fork, and a rear monoshock. Wet weight is 565 pounds. Seat height is 32.1 inches, and the starting price is $17,999. On the road, the Versys feels heavy and uninspiring. At low speeds, the substantial weight makes it cumbersome to handle, and on tighter curves, the size and soft suspension create a vague, unsettled sensation. When the pavement opens up, it still fails to capture the precision and poise riders expect from a true sport tourer. For those looking toward off-pavement exploration, the weight and design leave the bike far less capable than dual sport or adventure machines built for rough terrain. What was intended to be comfort and control often translates into hesitation and compromise. Even the electronic package lags behind its competition, offering features that appear dated in 2025 when compared to rival models with sharper displays and advanced rider aids. While marketed as a motorcycle for every purpose, it ends up excelling at none. The next motorcycle on this list shows how leaning too hard on nostalgia can still leave riders disappointed in the present. Number 8. Harley Davidson Nightster. Heralded as a modern gateway into the Harley lineup, this motorcycle leaves many wondering what was sacrificed along the way. The engine produces 90 horsepower from a 975 cubic centimeter Revolution Max V twin with 70 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, a telescopic front fork, and twin rear shocks. Wet weight is 481 pounds. Seat height is 27.8 inches, and the starting price is $13,499. On paper, the Nightster looks like a bold step forward. It carries liquid cooling, modern electronics, and styling that nods to the past while aiming at younger riders. Yet when experienced on the road, the flaws become clear. The seating position feels cramped for longer legs. The heat from the motor is noticeable in slow traffic, and the small fuel tank limits range. Riders hoping for the timeless rumble of an air-cooled Harley find the note sharper and less soulful. For veterans of the brand, the motorcycle can feel like a departure from what a cruiser is supposed to deliver. The Nightster has value as an introduction to the Harley badge, but it struggles to hold its ground when compared to the enduring appeal of the older air-cooled models. For older riders expecting comfort and lasting heritage, it is too much compromise in too small a package. The next motorcycle on this list shows how chasing performance numbers can erase comfort and tradition entirely. Number 7. Suzuki Katana 1000. Reviving an icon is risky business, and this reimagined Katana proves that history alone cannot carry a motorcycle forward. The engine produces 148 horsepower from a 998 cubic centimeter inline 4 with 78 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, an inverted telescopic front fork, and a rear monoshock. Wet weight is 473 pounds. Seat height is 32.5 inches, and the starting price is $13,499. While the Katana carries the distinctive square-edge styling that once made posters for an entire generation, the ride itself feels mismatched for today's market. The upright handlebar position sacrifices the precision riders expect from a true sport machine, while the limited wind protection makes highway miles exhausting. The power is solid, yet the ergonomics and overall balance leave the motorcycle in an awkward middle ground. Many riders find that the machine lacks the comfort of a touring bike and the edge of a proper sport bike, leaving it stranded between categories without a clear audience. As a nostalgic nod, the Katana certainly draws attention, but when compared to its sibling, the GSXS 1000, it becomes difficult to justify. The sibling provides similar performance with better ergonomics and at a lower cost. In practice, the Katana ends up appealing more to collectors than to everyday riders. The next motorcycle on this list highlights how even Harley Davidson can stumble when reimagining one of its longest-running names. We're not finished yet, and the biggest surprises are still ahead. If you care about protecting your money and your ride, hit subscribe now so you never miss out. Number 6. Harley Davidson Sportster S. A legendary name reborn with modern tech, yet this version misses the soul that made the original unforgettable. The engine produces 121 horsepower from a 1,252 cubic centimeter Revolution Max V twin with 94 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, an inverted telescopic front fork, and a single rear monoshock. Wet weight is 502 pounds. Seat height is 29.6 inches, and the starting price is $16,999. The Sportster tries to combine modern technology with heritage appeal, but the compromises stand out quickly. The seating position is aggressive, the forward controls awkward for many riders, and the suspension travels short enough to punish over rough pavement. Heat from the high-mounted exhaust is a constant complaint, especially during slower rides in traffic. For distance work, the limited fuel range makes long trips impractical, and the ride becomes tiring before the miles are finished. Riders who loved the original air-cooled versions for their customization potential find this new platform restrictive, with aftermarket options limited and expensive. For younger riders, the sharp styling may carry some appeal, but for older enthusiasts, it feels like a departure from what the Sportster name meant. Instead of delivering comfort and heritage, it leaves many wondering who exactly it was built for. The next motorcycle on this list demonstrates how going electric can strip away the very soul that built a loyal following. Number 5. Livewire 1. The promise of electric performance sounded bold, but the execution leaves riders cold and disconnected. The engine produces 100 horsepower from a liquid-cooled electric motor with 86 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, an inverted telescopic front fork, and a rear monoshock. Wet weight is 555 pounds. Seat height is 30.7 inches, and the starting price is $22,799. The Livewire delivers instant torque and sleek styling, but fails real riders. Limited range, scarce charging, and silence instead of a V-twin rumble strip-away soul. Long trips feel impossible, and the high price makes it impractical as either a commuter choice or a satisfying weekend motorcycle. For some, the Livewire is an impressive piece of engineering, but for many riders, it feels disconnected from the road and from tradition. It demonstrates that technology alone cannot carry a motorcycle's identity. The next motorcycle on this list shows how even the most exotic engineering can leave riders feeling burdened instead of rewarded. Number 4. Ducati Multistrada Fi 4 Pikes Peak. On paper, it looks like the ultimate all-in-one motorcycle, but the ride tells a different story entirely. The engine produces 170 horsepower from an 1158 cubic centimeter V4 with 92 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, electronically controlled semi-active suspension, and a single-sided rear swing arm. Dry weight is 579 pounds. Seat height is 33.1 inches, and the starting price is $32,995. The Multistrada promises performance and style, but reality disappoints. Complex electronics, endless modes, and constant adjustments overwhelm rather than inspire. Instead of natural control, riders face confusing settings. The front end feels unpredictable, leaving many intimidated rather than connected, turning a supposed dream machine into a complicated compromise. The price alone makes ownership a serious commitment, and once maintenance and parts are factored in, it becomes becomes an even heavier burden. Riders looking for one exceptional strength, be it touring comfort, off-road versatility, or outright speed, find that the Multistrada does many things adequately, but few things exceptionally. In the end, it feels like a motorcycle trying to be everything at once and succeeding at very little. The next motorcycle on this list proves that futuristic design without substance quickly turns into a costly disappointment. Number 3. Honda NM4 Vultus. Looking more like a science fiction experiment than a road machine, this motorcycle confuses as much as it intrigues. The engine produces 61 horsepower from a 745 cubic centimeter parallel twin with 44 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, a telescopic front fork, and a rear monoshock. Wet weight is 561 pounds, seat height is 25.6 inches, and the starting price was $11,000 when new. The Vultus grabs attention with futuristic bodywork, yet function lags behind form. Its stretched foot position and awkward bars create discomfort, while shared underpinnings deliver modest performance. Riders expecting agility or excitement instead find a heavy motorcycle better suited as a science fiction prop than a true road machine. The Vultus also proved difficult for customization, a hallmark of motorcycles that thrive with owners who want to make them their own. Few aftermarket options exist, and resale values collapsed quickly as the market failed to embrace it. This was a case of styling leading the engineering, and the result is a motorcycle remembered more as an oddity than a rider's machine. The next motorcycle on this list demonstrates how chasing exclusivity can lead to excess that very few riders can truly justify. Number 2. Indian EFTR Jr. Wrapped in nostalgic branding, this machine blurs the line between motorcycle and toy, and not in a good way. The motor produces no measurable horsepower, with speed capped at 15 miles per hour from a small electric unit. It uses basic drum brakes, a simplified suspension with telescopic forks up front, and dual shocks in the rear. Weight is 110 pounds, seat height is 23 inches, and the starting price is $799. The EFTR Jr. mimics a flat track racer, but the illusion fades fast. Despite its styling, it lacks real performance or excitement. Overpriced against youth machines with better durability, it ends up a novelty for adults and a limited toy for children, more display piece than motorcycle. In a market where every dollar matters, the EFTR Jr. feels out of touch with what families and riders actually want. Instead of building trust and loyalty, it risks undermining the brand's credibility. The next motorcycle on this list shows that when manufacturers chase engineering spectacle at any cost, the result is a machine that few can own and even fewer can truly enjoy. Number 1. Bimota Tesi H2. An engineering marvel at first glance, this six-figure spectacle turns out to be a burden few riders would dare to tame. The engine produces 228 horsepower from a 998 cubic centimeter inline 4 with 98 pound-feet of torque. It uses disc brakes with anti-lock braking system, hub-centered front suspension, and a rear monoshock. Dry weight is 456 pounds. Seat height is 32.9 inches, and the starting price is $60,000. The Tesi H2 dazzles at first glance, yet quickly shows its flaws. Its exotic suspension feels vague, while the aggressive supercharged throttle overwhelms public roads. Harsh ergonomics punish the rider, and the extreme performance demands expert skill, leaving it more laboratory experiment than practical motorcycle for real riders. Ownership also comes with high costs and headaches. Specialized parts are difficult to source, dealer support is limited, and maintenance requires expertise not easily found outside of Europe. For most buyers, it becomes more of a conversation piece than a partner on the open road. The Tesi H2 may be a marvel of technology, but it represents the extreme end of excess, a motorcycle that sacrifices rideability and heritage for spectacle. It stands as proof that not every engineering experiment belongs in the garage of a real rider. Motorcycles aren't just machines, they're part of who we are, but as this list proves, not every brand respects the rider behind the bars. Too many models look good under showroom lights, yet fail on the open road where it truly matters. You deserve better than marketing tricks and broken promises. That's why knowing which bikes to avoid is as important as knowing which ones to ride. If this list made you rethink even one brand, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe, because the fight for real motorcycles is just getting started.